Number 2 is a good wine, whatever it is. Let's take a look, shall we? What is it? I'm Matthew Horkey. For the last 7 years, I've traveled around the world tasting thousands of wines annually in search of the most unique, exciting, and expensive bottles on the planet. It's replicated all around the world. But what is a Bordeaux blend? Some of the world's greatest and most expensive wines are Bordeaux blends. The Bordeaux blend is not officially legalized or recognized name. The region of Bordeaux is named after the city of Bordeaux in France. Traditionally, there are 6 red grapes in Bordeaux, and the 6 principal grapes are Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, Petit, Verdot, and Carmenere. Now there are more red grape varieties that are permitted. Let's wait and see, because one of them is Touriga Nacional, a Portuguese variety, which to me makes no sense. But typically, if you have Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, or any other combination of the other varieties, that's a Bordeaux blend. And because Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot are grown all over the world, there are fantastic Bordeaux blends to be found in every corner of the wine world. It's still a confusing term, however. Petrus, one of the most prestigious Bordeaux in the world, is 100% Merlot. I don't know of a prestigious Bordeaux. I don't even know if it's allowed. That's one that's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Historically, producers in Europe use different grape varieties as an insurance policy against the weather. For example, you have Cabernet Sauvignon, Petit, Verdot. They're grapes that ripen late. So if a rain comes in and knocks out that crop, if you had earlier ripening varieties like Merlot planted, you were okay with that year because those grapes are already harvested. You had quantity to make wine. Cabernet Sauvignon is one of the most prized red wine grapes in the world for its dark fruit flavors, high tannin, high acidity, ability to create wines that can age for a long time. Merlot is the second most planted grape variety in the world. Usually Merlot adds some plushness, some softness to the blend. It can resemble Cabernet Sauvignon, especially when done well. There are producers all over the world making great Merlot, like this one, Miani, from Friuli Venezia Giulia. This is one of the greatest Merlots I think that I've ever tasted. Then you have Cabernet Franc, which is kind of considered the third grape of Bordeaux. A lot of people are planting it more thanks to global warming. It's actually one of the parents of Cabernet Sauvignon. I really like it for its leafy flavors. I feel like Cabernet Franc is like adding a little bit of spice, a little bit of seasoning. Next we have Malbec. Yes, most people think of Argentina when they think of Malbec. However, it is a French variety, which also goes by the name Côte. The ones in Argentina are plush and fruity. However, the ones in France, like you see in Cahors, or the examples you see in Bordeaux, are a little bit meatier, a lot more tannic, and kind of savage. You have Petit Verdot, really prized for its color. However, it's a really late ripening variety. Some producers have pulled it out just because it becomes too troublesome in the vineyard. Has a lot of high tannins too. Really interesting grape. If you get a chance to taste any varietal Petit Verdot wines out there, they're really kind of savagey and weedy. I really like wines that have Petit Verdot because I feel like it adds some tannin, some structure. Not a real easy wine to enjoy when it's a standalone grape. Then you have Carmenere. Actually, these days Chile is most well known for Carmenere. It's got a combination of Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon type flavors. Sometimes I think of it as a little bit more leafy. It was brought by European immigrants to Chile and planted. And a lot of people thought it was actually Merlot before they figured it out in the 1990s. I don't know a lot of producers that actually use Carmenere in Bordeaux. One of the greatest Bordeaux blends that I know of that uses Carmenere is the Tenuta San Leonardo from northern Italy. That's a fabulous, distinctive Bordeaux blend. A lot of people attribute it to the high percentage of Carmenere in the blend. So that sounds all great in theory, but how do those grape varieties taste on their own? Thankfully, the winery Titus offered to send me a varietal pack of wines from the 2019 vintage in Napa. 2019 was a fantastic vintage, so Titus decided to bottle different varieties separately. Just to let you know, these are some serious wines. I mean, this whole pack of wines costs over $400. So I'm gonna get these blinded. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna be able to pick out the variety. I have 5 of the 6 varieties here. Unfortunately, I don't have 100% Carmenere. Tasting with my Gabriel Glas Standart editions, tasting 2 at a time. You want to learn about wine, you got to taste 2 wines at a time. These are universal glasses. They're great shape. I'll put a link in the description box below. I absolutely love these things. All right, to be fair, these are 2019s. Yes, I know some of the oak will maybe affect how these varieties taste, but I also like that they're on the younger side, so that way aging tertiary aromas don't change up my opinions. Also, I have to let you know, the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Merlot wines do have other varieties blended into them, but the Cabernet Sauvignon is mostly Cab, the Merlot is mostly Merlot. But you know, this is for fun, guys. This is for fun. Wine 1 and 2. This is gonna be difficult because the wines have oak. I think I'm gonna have to go on mouthfeel, not on flavors. Wine 1 is just super dark. I get oak, I get black fruits, not much else going on. Just a touch of leafiness, a little bit starting to open up. God, this is good. These wines might all taste the same, and I'll just be doing a crapshoot. I don't know, with the plummy like flavors, maybe I'm thinking it's Merlot. Pretty plush mouthfeel, maybe Merlot or Cabernet Franc. Let's check out number 2. These smell so similar. This is so difficult because the oak is prominent. These ones are not too oaky though, but yeah, I mean, I definitely smell the oak. It's expensive oak. Okay, some more leafiness or greenness come out. Maybe it's one of the Cabernets. I'm gonna lean towards this one being a Cabernet Sauvignon. It just has that kind of mid-palate intensity that happens, you know, in Cabernet Sauvignon. Usually on the mid-palate, there's a little bit of explosion in flavor, and the length is even a little bit better. Let's go back to this. Okay, now when you have comparison, you can start to see. Number 1 has a little bit more leafiness I kind of associate with Cabernet Franc, although Cabernet Sauvignon can have those bell pepper type flavors as well. Number 2 is a good wine, whatever it is. Cabernet Sauvignon, I think of always, most of the time, having more dark fruit flavors. What I like about Cabernet Franc, it has more cherry, more red fruit flavors, and that's what I gravitate towards. Cabernet Franc is hard to identify in Napa because it's so warm there, it gets so ripe. Sometimes people have a hard time telling that it's Cabernet Franc in blind tastings. Tough but good start. Let's move on to 3 and 4. They smell so similar. Okay, wine 3 is starting to get some Merlotness, you know, some plushness is starting to develop. I don't know, Merlot just has this almost like a red plum type aroma that I associate with and I sometimes can't miss. Okay, now it really comes, it's like a red plum, almost like a juicy berry type flavor. It's just really bright. Maybe I think that 3 is, actually I'm pretty confident I'm confident on 2 and 3, not the first one. Let's try wine number 4. Wine 4 is like super dark. I mean, it's not even giving me a lot of fruit on the nose. Okay, it's starting to smell a little bit stemmy. That's why I think it might be Petit Verdot. Let me see on the palate here. Number 4 is the most tannic, but still got so much black fruit. Is it you know, here's the thing where you trick yourself in blind tasting, because wine is so complex and there's so many aromas and different people can pick up different things. You can kind of trick yourself into believing you're smelling what you're smelling. You get the oak in all these wines, but it's actually really well put together. I mean, these are super polished, high quality wines. Yeah, maybe Petit Verdot. We'll see here. Coming up the rear, wine number 5. Very cherry-like in aroma. Cherry, wood, almost like a Ribena type of juice. Man, ooh, good. Maybe I'll go to that. Maybe I'll go number 1 is, let me check one more time. Maybe that's Malbec because it's quite, oh man. Maybe I'll go with 5 as Malbec. This is why you should have so much respect for winemakers, because when winemakers are putting together the blends they're tasting, they know what to look for and how the wine's gonna turn out in the final blend. I've done some blending before. It's a lot harder than just judging wine. I think I'm gonna get all these wrong, and you guys are gonna laugh at me, but this is tough. All right, you ready for the reveal? Number 1, I'm gonna say it's Cabernet Franc. I don't know, it had just a touch of leafiness. It was a little bit leaner per se. It's a blind tasting that it's gonna be incredibly humbling. So here we go, wine number 1. Let's take a look, shall we? What is it? Wine 1 is the Cabernet Sauvignon. I guess I got in the Cabernet family. Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon sometimes can get confused. Wine 2, I thought was the Cabernet Sauvignon. That's what I thought. Wine 2, I think was wine 2 and 3, I think were my favorite wines. I mean, this wine was super serious. I mean, I'm talking 94 plus. I think it was super, super good. I thought it was Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Franc. I love Cabernet Franc. At least, you know, at least I got the Cabernets right together. So there's hope that I got these final 3 right. There's hope. Number 3, I thought was Merlot. Just had some more red fruit, some more juiciness. Actually, it's so funny because after the first reveal, I thought I was just completely gonna just be terrible in all this. I think this is Merlot. Let's take a look, shall we? You think it's Merlot too? It's Malbec. It was my second favorite wine in the tasting. I thought this wine was awesome, like 93 point type awesome. I thought it was excellent. Kind of reminded me a little bit more of some that you would find in Argentina, especially some higher elevation stuff. So this was really good wine. Number 4, I definitely think was Petit Verdot, just a little more savage. And let's take a look here. It is the Petit Verdot. Yeah, so I got that right. It was the most tannic out of the bunch. Gonna be the most difficult, I think, for people to drink right out of the gate. Okay, this last one I thought was the Malbec, so I got the Malbec and the Merlot confused. Number 5 is the Merlot. Humbling. I guess, you know, I got the Petit Verdot right, and I didn't get the Cabernets right, but I put the Cabernets together. So have you guys ever done a tasting like this? What do you think? I'd love to know in the comments below. And tell me, what are your favorite regions for Bordeaux blends in the world? Thanks a lot. I guess I'll see you soon.